Magandang hapon ulit sa inyong lahat. To continue with our discussion, let us look at the heart of the matter, which is motivation. One of the most famous lines siguro in the advertising world is yung sa Nescafe that it asks, para kanino ka bumabangon? Para ba sa pamilya? Para ba kay boss? Para ba sa pera? Para ba sa'yo o para sa bayan? Now, sa organizational ecology, we talk about how organizations survive. Pero ang totoo, ang survival ng isang school o opisina ay nakadepende sa fuel ng mga employees nito. Today, we will talk about the two types of fuel, which is the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and how the ecological environment shifts between the two. Now, let's have first the external motivation. Ito yung drive na galing sa labas, like rewards, punishments, or the need to survive. Now, in organizational ecology, external factors are very loud. Tulad na siguro ng threat of selection. Now, kapag naririnig ng mga staff, for example, for a certain private school, like sa pinagtatrabahuan ko ngayon, kapag naririnig ng mga staff na kailangan natin makakota sa enrollees, kundi baka magbawas ng tao. So, that is an massive external motivator. It works, yes, kasi people work harder. Pero it's based on fear. Ang tawag natin dyan is survival mode. Diba? Kailangan mag-advertise tayo, kailangan marami tayong makuhang estudyante kasi kapag wala kaming mapapasweldo sa iyo. Kaya yun, magtatrabaho talaga ang mga employees. Next, we have legitimacy and compliance. So, the environment like DepEd, CHED, or any accrediting bodies demands compliance. So, ang motivation ng teacher ay hindi na to teach effectively, kundi to finish the paperwork. Just like what my professors in Masteral says, nga kapag accreditation na, walang tulugan. Kung pwede pa lang na matulog sa opisina, doon talaga matutulog. So, yun, the drive is purely extrinsic. We are doing it for the certificate, siguro primarily, pero more than that is we know the reason why we are doing it. Then, we also have competition for resources. Kapag scarce ang resources ng ecosystem, employees compete for business or promotion na instead of collaborating, nagkakaroon ng competitive mentality. So, maybe sasabihin natin dito na I need to be the best so I get the reward. So, this is a classic external motivation. Now, let's go naman po sa internal motivation. So, pag sinasabi natin internal motivation, alam naman natin siguro na we do it because it's inherently satisfying. Now, in an ecological sense, this is when the employees find their perfect niche. One sample siguro nito is the autonomy in the ecosystem. Now, an organism thrives when it has the space to grow. So, in our schools, kapag binibigyan natin ang ating mga teachers ng freedom to innovate their classrooms, despite all the external pressures, napapangalagaan natin ang kanilang internal motivation. Kasi feeling nila, may say sila, may control sila sa environment nila. Next is mastery and specialist roles. Now, in an organizational ecology, a specialist focuses on one thing and does it well. When an employee is allowed to focus on what they are truly good at. So, nagiging intrinsic ang drive. Hindi lang sila nagtatrabaho just for the salary, but they are working for the craft. Then, you also have organizational identity or relatedness. If the organization has clear identity in the ecology, halimbawa, tayo ang university na makakalikasan. Now, the employees internalize that identity. Hindi sila nagtatrabaho lang, kundi they are part of the mission. So, this is one of the strongest forms of internal motivation. Now, there's a conflict. Now, what happens when the external drowns out the internal? So, the problem happens when the ecological pressure is too high. Kapag ang environment ay masyadong unstable, like laging mayroong bagong admin, palaging labas ng mga memo, nauubos ang internal motivation ng tao. Now, we call this over-justification effect. Kapag masyadong maraming external rewards or punishments, nakakalimutan ng teacher kung bakit niya mahal ang pagtuturo in the first place. So, sa madaling sabi, kapag naging survival of the fittest na lang ang mindset, nawawala na ang ating love for the work. So, we become robots of the ecosystem. Now, I'll have to present to you one of the sample research nila Layek at Kudamara. Ito ay isang comparative analysis kung saan tinitignan kung pareho ba ang hugot o motivation ng mga guro sa private schools at government-owned institutions pagdating sa kanilang performance. Now, isa sa mga importanteng contribution ng framework ng kanilang study is ang work experience. Now, hindi lang ito basta taon sa serbisyo. Nagsisilbi itong moderator na nagbabago sa epekto ng motivation. Na para sa intrinsic motivation, habang tumatagal daw ang isang guro sa profession, mas lalong lumalakas ang epekto ng kanilang inner drive sa kanilang performance. I don't know if this holds true para sa inyo po na 10 years, 20 years, 30 years na po sa service. Dahil bihasa na sila, mas nagagamit nila ang kanilang passion para mas maging effective and efficient na educator. Then para naman sa extrinsic motivation for the government sector, may kakaibang twist dito. Dahil sa mga government schools, kapag ang isang guro daw ay sobrang tagal na sa serbisyo, ay sobrang pagtutok na po sa extrinsic rewards daw. Dahil there's a need to go up into different levels of their professorialship. At dahil dito, madalas na lang daw po na nakatutok sa rewards at nagpapababa na daw sa kanilang performance. I think this holds true kasi according to one of my professors nung master's degree ko, nakausap ko po siya kahapon. Dito sa isang malapit na SUC sa amin, sabi niya, kitang-kita daw ngayon ang hirap ng pag-akyat sa professorial ranks kumpara daw noon. Dahil ngayon daw, mas mahigpit na ang criteria at ang limitadong slots. Now, marami daw po sa ating mga veteranong educators ang nakakaranas ng tinatawag nating extrinsic frustration. So, as what I have said a while ago, mabilis lang daw ang pag-akyat ng salary grade noon based sa tenure. Pero ngayon, kahit yung mga highly experienced na professor, madalas na na-stagnate sa kanilang rank. Sabi niya, dahil dito, nung inopen daw ang university extensionist at university researcher positions, yung mga assistant professors daw nila ay piniling iniwan ang classroom at mag-apply sa mga administrative positions na ito. Hindi dahil ito ang gusto nila na magtrabaho sa opisina, kundi they see it as one of the fastest ways to move from, say, salary grade 18 to salary grade 24. So, yun ang nangyari daw. Now, what does it mean? Na pinapakita nito na hindi sapat ang motivation lang. Kailangan nating ikonsidera ang work experience bilang isang demographic variable. Sa pamamagitan nito, mas naiintindihan ng mga school administrators kung paano i-handle ang mga seasoned teachers kumpara sa mga bago pa lang. Para masigurado natin na laging nasa peak ang performance nila. Now, as future administrators, ano ba yung role natin, diba, as EDD students? Now, hindi natin maaalis ang external pressures. Nandyan at nandyan po yan. Nandyan ang competition. Nandyan ang accreditation. Diba? But we must create a micro ecosystem inside our organizations that protects the internal motivation of our people. So siguro, kailangan natin protektahan ang mga staff sa sobrang ingay ng environment. Huwag nating ipasa sa kanila ang lahat ng stress ng external ecology. Then, maybe if we become principal or if we become school head, siguro, let us let our teachers find their joy in their specific roles. And then we need to have balance. We need to use external rewards like bonuses, recognition to support the internal passion, hindi para palitan ang kanilang intrinsic motivation. Now, in the end, the school survives not just because it complied with the environment, but because its people are driven from within. So, hanggang dito na lang po. Thank you so much for listening.